Hi, my name is Suiki, and I want to talk about some things. Firstly, it's been about 8 years since I last posted a video here, and I'm hoping to change that going forward. I wasn't really sure what I wanted this channel to be about, but I think I have an idea now, so let's see how it goes for 2026 and onwards, yeah? But anyway, today I wanted to talk, well, I wanted to do a film review, and a film review for a film I watched on Thursday, the 5th of February. The film I watched was Send Help. Now, Send Help is the new Sam Raimi film. Sam Raimi, for those of you who may know, gave us gems such as Evil Dead, Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead Part 2, The Army of Darkness. He was also a huge part of my growing up in childhood when he created the Spider-Man trilogy in the early 2000s with the likes of Tobey Maguire and Kristen Dunst. And he's also given us more sort of horror comedy gems like Drag Me to Hell. Now, Send Help follows a perhaps meek, perhaps a bit lousy and mousy, but highly skilled Linda Little, played fantastically, fantastically by Rachel McAdams, who very unceremoniously gets passed over for a promised promotion when her late employer's son, Bradley Preston, um, played insufferably so good by Dylan O'Brien, decides to give the promotion to his friend instead of her. The film follows Linda and Bradley when they end up going on a trip to Bangkok, and the plane crashes, and then the two of them find themselves the only two survivors of the plane crash on an remote island. But is everything as it seems? So, firstly, I'm going to start out by saying spoilers ahead. I should have said that at the start of the video, but it is what it is. Anyway, so what I liked about this movie, first of all, Rachel McAdams. Wow. Having adored this woman since I was a little kid when I saw her as Regina George, and she pulled up with that iconic blonde hair, and she said, "Why don't I know you?" to Lindsay Lohan. I was just like, I am in love with this woman. She plays Linda Little, and she does such a phenomenal job at portraying just how I don't know. I don't know how to say this without sounding disrespectful, but Linda is the kind of person you are embarrassed about and embarrassed for because she is a lousy person. But because she's lousy, as the film goes on, the turn that takes when we see Linda in the island and we find out that not only is she a bit of a survival enthusiast, but she is actually a really capable survival in an extreme situation. And one thing I will say is you can put glasses and as many ugly sweaters on Rachel McAdams. This woman is always going to look beautiful. Period. End of. So I just thought it was a bit funny how this film tried to pass her off as being this ghastly creature when she's anything but. And what I also liked was once she's in the island, well, technically the character of Linda, she is in the wilderness and she does sort of becomes her natural self. So it's ironic that when Rachel McAdams had to de-glam in the movie, she ended up looking like $1,000,000. I mean, that's just gold right there. Dylan O'Brien, who, as you all know, I'm not too familiar with, but I believe, no, he was the star of the TV series the of Teen Wolf, which I'm not really too familiar with. I didn't really watch, but I know of him vaguely. He plays Bradley, who is the main villain of the story, and he is incredibly insufferable. Like, them people who you work with and you work for that you just want to give a smack on the face. Dylan O'Brien does such a terrific job as Bradley, and it makes all the more entertaining to root for Linda, played by Rachel McAdams, and root against Bradley. So once they are in the island, it is before they get in the island, it's established that Linda is the meek sort of prey to perhaps the alpha of which is Bradley. But once they're on the island, Linda's enthusiasm for survival and for surviving shows, and then the shift in the power dynamics ends up being so incredible to watch, because when the tables turn and it's when the meek hero ends up triumphing over the villain, oh, so satisfying. Now, I can't help but some things that I did not quite appreciate about the film. This is a film by Sam Raimi. This man gave us Evil Dead in the 80s, and he gave us Drag Me to Hell in 2009. I was kind of disappointed by the lack of gore. I was just thinking the whole time, I was like, why do I feel like he's held back? I mean, we saw Alison Lohman in 2009's Drag Me to Hell splurt blood out of her nose like a fountain. And in this one, I felt like they really held back. And I wish for a situation like this, especially a premise like this, that they had been more messy, because this premise exactly called for it. I mean, these are two people stuck in a wild island for crying out loud. I also thought that the ending, spoilers, was a little bit rushed. Like, the final fight sequence at the end, this whole film from the start builds up to Linda's triumph, not just as a survivor, but as the main hero. And this whole film builds up Bradley, the villain's demise, in such a grand manner that the final fight sequence just felt a bit rushed. And I just, really, we're venturing into spoiler territory here, but at the end of the film, she ends up beating him to death with a golf club. But I wish we had seen some of that, because, for a Raimi film, for them to kind of hold back on the violence and the gore felt a bit disappointing. But nonetheless, the sheer magnitude of Rachel McAdams' and Dylan O'Brien's commitment to the film really helped make for an entertaining watch. I also appreciated especially how this film doesn't hold back on how nepotism plays a part in business, how in business there's a lot of shadiness. You promised promotions and you promised a way to work yourself up and you promised something, but then something just happens like that and you're not given that. It feels so unjust, and unfortunately that is a reality. And also I can't help but pick up on how there was workplace sexism, because, Linda was portrayed as being the skilled worker, but because she was seen as someone who's older or perhaps dowdy, of course she wasn't given the part. And the fact that the film sets it up that she's proven herself to be a strong, capable, skilled professional, but then this new kid comes along and he's just like, well, you gotta prove yourself to me. And I love how the film didn't hold back on that, and then when they are on the island, just how it subverts that, and it shows not only Linda proving to us as the viewer, but to Bradley, the villain, just how much she is capable and how much skilled she has. I also have to say that the sort of final act, when it's revealed that they could have escaped all along, I liked how they pulled that off. I do wish it could have been a bit more tighter towards the end. I felt like if it just the pacing was a little bit off, but nonetheless, I still thoroughly enjoyed this movie, and give Rachel McAdams more leading parts, because, like, yes, she's amazing at playing the love interest, but, like, come on, she's proven herself with Game Night and Eurovision that she can be a lead. So why is Hollywood not giving her more movies, especially deserving of her talents? So cast Rachel McAdams more, give her more material worthy of her talents. Like I said, my overall thoughts, I would say, is that I genuinely thought this was a very entertaining movie. It was quite fun. I just wish it was messy, because Sam Raimi is like the king of splatter gore, and this was very tame compared to what I was hoping for, and what I'm used to. Nonetheless, I'm still gonna say that this was definitely a worthy experience to watch on the big screen, and for that, I am going to give Send Help a solid 7 out of 10. I would definitely recommend watching this. Watch it with your friends. If they're not squeamish, definitely watch it in a group. But yeah, so thank you very much if you do watch this. I hope you enjoy this video. I appreciate if it's a bit rambly, but then again, I've not done this for 8 years. My letterboxd is in the link below. Follow there for more concise reviews. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you like this video. Please do comment and subscribe. Thank you very much, and have a nice day. Bye.